Meanwhile, Secretary of State Rubio delivered a speech at the Munich Security Conference that reaffirmed the deep ties between the United States and Europe. He reminded the Western allies of the shared heritage that we have together, while also pointing out that defending it was a two-way street.
Under President Trump, the United States of America will once again take on the task of renewal and restoration. And while we are prepared, if necessary, to do this alone, it is our preference and it is our hope to do this together with you, our friends here in Europe. This is why we Americans may sometimes come off as a little direct and urgent in our counsel. This is why President Trump demands seriousness and reciprocity from our friends here in Europe. The reason why, my friends, is because we care deeply. We do not want allies to rationalize the broken status quo rather than reckon with what is necessary to fix it. For we in America have no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline. We do not seek to separate, but to revitalize an old friendship and renew the greatest civilization in human history.
Joining us now is retired General Jack Keane, a Fox News senior strategic analyst with more. Senator McCormick of Pennsylvania wrote this, that Rubio sets the course for NATO's future. Will Europe listen? And that it's a powerful call for the champions of the West to defend a shared civilization with a beautiful past. Your thoughts this morning, sir?
Yeah, well, I thought it was a great articulation of where President Trump is coming from. Certainly started it in the first administration and clearly in the second. And what's changed so much is the in-between Biden administration, where our adversaries became so much more aggressive. And I think they became aggressive because they perceived weakness on the part of U.S. and European leadership. It's not isolated, you know, that Ukraine is at war in 22. Russia invades the country, not the least bit intimidated by the United States and NATO. And Iran and its proxy start the most significant conflict Israel's ever experienced in 23 in their history since they were established as a state in 1948. But what the part of the speech that I really loved was when Rubio identifies the failed strategies that the United States has had and how we're going after them and wants to join with Europe in working on these common problems ourselves. And what are we talking about? Mass migration, open borders, failed climate and energy strategies, the reality that we surrendered and we relied far too much on multinational organizations like the UN, the World Trade Organization, the World Health Organization, and the list goes on. Didn't solve a lot of problems for any of us. And then finally, it's an admission that we have to recover our defense capabilities and conduct a buildup to return to the kind of deterrence policies that we've had in the past. The Europeans have the same problems. Yes, shared culture, shared values, but common problems and challenges too. And I think the Europeans will positively respond to this because they see these problems and they know they have to get after it. And listen, Putin has awakened them, to be sure, and President Trump put some denominator down on the table. This is specifically what you need to do to increase your defense capabilities. And they are stepping up to that. I think the attitude of working it together, and we are a part of it, I think is refreshing. The tone was right. I don't want to be too Pollyannish about it. The Europeans have deep-seated problems, to be sure. But I think this is a step really in the right direction.
And then let's talk about the report that Dana Marie McNichol had about Iran. I want to show you here U.S. naval assets in the Middle East. As we understand them right now, this is a map here. And of course, you know a lot more about what this posturing means than anyone else. And here was President Trump on Friday. He was asked about if he wanted regime change.
Do you want regime change in Iran?
Well, it seems like that would be the best thing that could happen. For 47 years, they've been talking and talking and talking. In the meantime, we've lost a lot of lives while they talk, and legs blown off, arms blown off, faces blown off. It's been going on for a long time, so let's see what happens. In the meantime,
where do you stand? I look at all of this, and maybe this is part of the strategy, is that I don't know what's going to happen. Do you?
Well, negotiations are underway. President Trump, sticking to his pattern here, has offered a diplomatic olive branch to them, as he did prior to the 12-day war, and he gave them 60 days, and on the 61st day, Israel attacked Iran, and then we participated in that operation to end that war. And he did the same thing with Maduro. You know, offered him an olive branch, actually offered him a ride out of Venezuela with some degree of immunity, and refused to take it, and we all saw what happened to him. Well, here we are looking at this again. And the Iranians, I think, true to form, will not negotiate on really enrichment. So our audience understands there are someplace north of 60% enriched uranium. You only need 3 to 5 for civil nuclear power. And it's unlikely they will go down to that level. And listen, the Iranians are such diabolical, pathological liars that they don't even admit that they're in pursuit of a nuclear weapon, despite the secret sites they've had, despite the sites that we bombed that are buried 250 feet underneath the ground. Really quite remarkable that they still to this day pursue this bold-faced lie that we're just building civilian nuclear power. They have one nuclear power plant that produces less than 1% of electricity for the nation writ large. This is all about their desire to develop a nuclear weapon. They have two objectives here. One, to continue to drag out negotiations to forestall any U.S. Combined attack with Israel and give them greater capability to prepare for such an attack and also retaliate. And then the second thing, and they've actually put it on the table, is what their real objective is to get sanction relief. Dana and Bill, they cannot recover their economy. And that's why the people are asking for regime change. They know this is a hopeless situation. It wasn't like the Hajib when the young girl was killed and tortured in prison. And a year later, Iran changed that policy and permitted people to not have to wear a headdress or the Hajib. They can't change any policy here and recover their economy, which is in a tank, and the suffering of their people. And that is why the people are willing to lose their lives for them. So I think we're on a path here, given Iranian behavior that is somewhat predictable, that we will not be able to work a deal that makes sense, that this option that you're seeing coming together in the Mediterranean and the Gulf in terms of another carrier strike group. For our audience to understand, there were 2 carrier strike groups in the Mediterranean and the Gulf when Israel started its 12-day war and the United States took down their nuclear enterprise. And that is what is unfolding right before our eyes. To include what we don't see is all the fighter aircraft and bombers that are moving into the region, as well as defense missile capability that's moved into the region. Something quite significant.
It looks, yeah, making quite a statement indeed. Well, it's only Monday, and I'm sure that we will probably see you again this week. Thank you, General.
Yeah, great talking to both of you. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.